A few weeks ago, Ian and I took a trip up to the Sonoma coast, and of course, we had to do some tide pooling. This spot is called Salt Point State Park. I was super excited about this location because there had been tons of giant Pacific octopus sightings here. I tend to get my hopes up when I have octopus on my mind, but maybe we'll actually find one this time, right? This spot was awesome. There were an abundance of fun animals and awesome kelps. This sea palm is my favorite because they look like tiny palm trees. They also like to live in really wave-swept areas, and you will see we almost got very wet. We found loads of abalone, which I've never really seen that many before. So many giant green sea anemones, lots of starfish, giant gumboot chitons, and more. So let's get into it. Crab molt. This thing?
Yeah.
The molt of a red rock crab. Wow.
Shh.
Oh, whoa. Whoa. What the fuck? What is this? Ian? Oh my god, this rock is just falling apart.
What is it?
I don't know, it's scary though. What the fuck? It's a clam.
It's just wedged in the rock?
Dude, it was living in this hole. You see that? It just was like this. How does it live like that? It was literally covered. See, this is the other side. That makes no sense.
Something's getting in.
Wait, what? Is it alive? Yeah. Oh, I see.
Is there a hole at the bottom?
Yeah. What the
That's
hell?
pretty freaking cool. It must have gotten in there when it was a baby and just grown into it.
See, it sticks out from the hole right here. There. That's freaking crazy. How does it fit in there? Look, there's some other cool stuff over here.
Okay, put
Look.
it back.
I don't know how, babe.
Yeah.
Yay! Sitting in this tide pool is one of my favorite sea creatures. It's none other than the wandering meatloaf, or gumboot chiton. I'll pick it up so we can see what it looks like underneath. Voila! Wow. It's so orange. It's an animal similar to snails. It has 8 plates under the mantle, which is this red part. In the middle, this bright orange is the foot. Up there somewhere hiding is its mouth. And it just kind of wanders around. It curls up like this because it is a defense mechanism. Obviously it thinks I'm trying to eat it or something, so it's curling up, plus it was out of the water. They can live out of water for several hours during low tides. But now that it's back underwater, it'll start to open up again and reattach to the rock that it was on. And I will make sure that it does before I leave. The gunnels. There's 3 little gunnels. Again, these are intertidal animals. Usually you don't think of fish as being intertidal, but they can survive out of water. And they just stay moist to keep their gills wet. There's a little baby sea urchin. This is honestly probably a purple urchin, but they start out green when they're babies. See? Ooh, and then a cool chiton. I'm not sure, that might be a mossy chiton because it's kind of furry around the sides. Oh, look! A brittle star. A relative of sea stars. Oh my god, wait, look at this tiny crab. Can you see this? Wait, look at these! Oh, look. I'm gonna zoom in on this. Do the macro. Alright, let's get into some of the finds of the day. Besides these crab friends, the highlight species were by far the abalone. They were so abundant at this spot. We probably saw hundreds of them throughout the tide pools. Also, these were some of the largest I've seen in the wild. Some were almost the size of my head. While there were tons of living abalone, there were also tons of abalone shells. This one had a lot of other animals living on it, including this beautiful lined chiton, lots of tiny little snails, and even some limpets. Speaking of limpets, I found this little keyhole limpet stuck in a precarious position. Usually when they're gripped onto the rock, you should never try to pry them off because it can hurt their foot. But because this one was already falling off, we got the chance to see what it looks like underneath without harming it. Limpets and other snail-like animals in the intertidal have a mouth, and inside the mouth they have a tooth-like structure called a radula. These are basically tiny little teeth that scrape algae and seaweed off of the rocks. We can also see its cute little foot wiggling around. So adorable. Now back to my favorite seaweed species, Postelsia, also known as sea palm. This species of kelp is an annual, so it reproduces and dies off every year. At this stage, they're still pretty young, and they were only about 5 inches tall. Very cute. In some other spots, there were tons of these purple sea urchins. Sea urchins are omnivores, so they'll eat just about anything, but they especially love kelp and other seaweeds. When they come in like this and eat up all the seaweed, it can be known as an urchin baron. In some cases, the urchins dig out these little holes in the rocks that they can live in to stay protected from predators and heavy wave action. Sometimes, if they get in these holes and grow too big, they get stuck and they can't get out. Hopefully they don't eat all the Postelsia. While we didn't find any giant Pacific octopuses, we still had an amazing time at this spot. One of my favorite parts about going up north into the Sonoma area is the fact that we get to see new species like the sea palm. We don't usually see that species of seaweed in Monterey, so it's great to see these other areas where it lives. It's also cool to see these different interactions between animals, including all of the abalone, the purple sea urchins, and the kelp. In Northern California, purple sea urchins have become a large problem because they've eaten up a lot of the kelp. In some places, kelp has decreased by over 90%. Luckily, there is a lot of amazing kelp restoration work being done in these areas to help bring the kelp back to its historical state. I will be talking more about this kelp restoration work, so make sure you follow along if you're interested in learning more. Thank you so much to those of you who have stuck around this long, and I'll see you next time.